absolutely wild theater story to tell you guys that happened to me a year ago today. As Thomas Sanders used to always say, story time! So this time last year, I was in dress rehearsals for a play called Always Plenty of Light at the Starlight All Night Diner by Darcy Parker Bruce at Spokane Falls Community College, playing Jessa, a queer pregnant waitress. And the show in general is about time travel, dinosaurs, and queer people. Another important piece of info, usually in a show when you're doing intimacy or intimacy work, that you don't do any kind of lip-to-lip contact until you have an intimacy rehearsal, and then between the intimacy rehearsal and tech week, you usually don't do it. We had done the Sam and Jessa kiss in intimacy rehearsal, hadn't done it for about 3 weeks or so, and we didn't end up doing that because there were some weather concerns. And then on Tuesday, we ran out of time. There was a time concern within ride availability. So we went into Wednesday being like, okay, we're gonna make sure we do the Sam and Jessa kiss today. We had a back door, kind of known as our shop door. That's how people get in, and on certain nights of rehearsal, the building wasn't locked the way that it normally was for classes. When we were there at like 4 or 5 in the evening, it was back doors and they were propped. Those doors are right behind our diner set. I'll show some photos here, but the way that that set works is even when it's split apart, we had like a little divider thing in the middle. Even when you're on stage, it's not like you could look into the wings and see who was backstage. This is all important info that you'll want to keep in mind. So it's our second to last dress rehearsal on Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. We're towards the end of the show. Everything has gone like relatively smoothly. And I'm on stage with my best friend Jean, playing my love interest Sam, having this very emotional heart-to-heart scene. Jessa saying that she's scared, feels unsafe in her current environment. What was so sad was that like this was the best that Jean and I had ever done this scene. We both had emotional monologues to each other, both did our monologues really, really well individually. We did it really well in terms of reacting to each other. It was like the best the chemistry had ever been. So we're getting to like the very cutesy romantic part of the scene. We're like a few lines away from the actual kiss itself. We're like very, very close to it. And suddenly we hear one of our cast members backstage talking really loudly, and that really threw me off but this was like full volume, and I was like, why are they talking full volume knowing that we're doing this? And then I hear them loudly and clearly say, I'm sorry, this is a closed rehearsal. What? A homeless man had walked in through that back door that we had propped like into the backstage area behind that diner during the scene, and was talking to cast members and crew members and asking about like bus schedule and cigarettes and demons and whatever. It was insane. We were just like, Jean and I are just on stage now. No one has called hold yet. So we're just looking at each other and we're like, are we supposed to still keep doing our lines? And we do, but it's definitely weird. It's like, you're just yourself, different, beautiful. And then they finally call hold. Our professor, who happened to be watching from the audience that night, I think, she immediately gets up and goes backstage to go deal with the situation. My best friend Joseph, who was playing Dr. Moxie and who was laying on the table, you know, unalived, gets up from the table, back there to see what's happening, because having a male presence back there was hopefully gonna help the situation. Eventually, they get this man to leave. They're talking to him. Jean leans over to me and is like, it's kind of a mood killer, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, totally. But I'm so panicked. I'm so worried. They call security to make sure that he is not around the building. They also called security later in the night to walk us all out to the parking lot and to our cars. We lock all the doors. We then get asked by our director, do you feel safe continuing this scene and continuing with intimacy? The reason I'm also telling this story is for actors who are new to the industry. Be like, hey, don't do what I did in this situation. Put your mental health first. Truly. I said yes to continuing as I felt like we needed to do the kiss and like the show must go on. The show doesn't have to go on. Even if this had happened during a normal performance, I feel like it would have been treated the same way, and it's still okay to say no to that. We still could have made it work, especially since it was a dress rehearsal. Other people had already said yes to continuing. I was like, oh, we need to do this kiss, so yes, we'll continue. So where Jess is giving that like really emotional monologue. Had I known that we were gonna start with that monologue, I probably would have said no to this. That monologue is all about feeling unsafe in your current environment, and oh wait, that was exactly what was happening to me. Rough time. I start that monologue, and normally when I started like kind of a shaky emotional place and work my way up to like being on the brink of tears, and that's all as the character, in character and safe. When I was doing it that time, I started on the brink of tears and then I ended up crying. My poor best friend and scene partner, Jean, knew that, and there was nothing they could really do. Extra moment like holding my hand before they went into the monologues to be like, we can back out if you want to. And I'm determined, I am stubborn, I'm like, the show must go on. So we keep going, and we do the kiss, and it's fine. Yeah, that is the story. It is absolutely wild. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this and doesn't freak you out too much. If you guys want to see more theater story times and all of that, let me know. I have some pretty fun ones to tell. But yeah, anyway, love you guys.